Welcome back to the deep dive. We are looking at a shift today that feels kind of inevitable in hindsight.
Yeah.
But when you're actually in the middle of it, like we are right now, it's messy.
Right.
We're moving from the link economy, where you search for something, you get a list of 10 blue hyperlinks, to the answer economy, where you ask a question and the machine just tells you the answer.
It sounds convenient, right? It sounds like progress. But for businesses, it's a seismic shock. It's the difference between a librarian pointing you to the history section and saying good luck
Yeah.
versus the librarian reading the book for you, summarizing the specific paragraph you need, and just handing you a note card.
And that distinction, that changes how money moves, how trust is built, and, frankly, how anyone gets found online.
Mm-hmm.
To navigate this, we've got a stack of sources that feels very future shock this week. We're pulling from The Verge, Search Engine Land, Digiday, TechCrunch, and Search Engine Journal.
And the mission today, really, is to look at three distinct battlefields. First, the AI wars, and specifically this fork in the road we're seeing with advertising.
Okay.
Second, the sudden democratization of premium media, like the Winter Olympics. And finally, we're going to get very tactical with the framework to stop your marketing budget from, well, leaking.
I want to start with the Super Bowl. We're recording this in February 2026. And while the game was great, the real bruising happened in the commercial breaks. The Verge is talking about Anthropic.
Right, the creators of the Claude AI assistant.
They ran an ad that felt, aggressive. It wasn't just, look at our cool robot. It was a direct shot at their competitors.
Oh, it was a strategic line in the sand. The core message was explicitly, Claude will remain ad-free. Now, on the surface, that sounds like a consumer promise.
We won't annoy you.
We won't annoy you, exactly. But if you look deeper, as The Verge points out, it's an attack on the entire business model of Google and OpenAI.
Because the implication is that everyone else will show you ads.
Precisely. We're seeing this massive divergence in how these AI companies plan to survive. You have Path A, which is the traditional internet model, get massive scale, get 1 billion users, and then sell their attention.
To the highest bidder.
To the highest bidder. That's ads inside the chat. You ask for a travel itinerary, and the hotel recommendation you get is sponsored.
Which brings us to Path B, the one Anthropic is betting on.
Path B is the subscription for trust model. They're banking on the idea that in a world of AI hallucinations and sponsored biases, users, especially professional users, will pay a premium for an answer that is objectively neutral.
They want to be the advisor, not the salesperson.
Exactly.
But let me play devil's advocate here. We've seen this movie before, right? Cable TV was supposed to be ad-free because you paid for it. Streaming services all started ad-free.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, the pressure for profit always seems to force ads in. Is Anthropic's stance actually sustainable, or is it just a loss leader strategy to get market share?
That is the multi-billion-dollar question. However, the sources suggest that for high-stakes queries, financial advice, coding, legal summaries, medical research, the value of zero bias is high enough to support a subscription model.
Okay.
If I'm a lawyer using AI to summarize case law, I cannot risk that the AI is favoring a specific legal database just because they paid for placement.
That makes a lot of sense. So the answer economy kind of splits into high stakes, which is paid and trusted, and low stakes, which is free and ad-supported.
Right.
But here's the rub for the listeners who run businesses, or maybe just manage a marketing budget. Whether the user pays for the AI or uses the free version with ads, the way they interact with the machine is identical.
And this is the key insight for marketing. The behavior has shifted. People aren't typing Best Plumber Chicago and hoping to browse 10 websites anymore.
Yeah.
They're typing, who is a reliable plumber in Chicago available this weekend who specializes in vintage boiler repair?
They are outsourcing the vetting process to the machine.
Precisely. They're asking the AI to make the decision. In the old world, you fought to be in the Google Map pack, those 3 local listings at the top. In this new world, you have to fight to be inside the answer itself.
So how do you do that? If Anthropic is subscription-based and won't take my ad money, and the other AIs are flooded with competition, how does a local business or, say, a B2B software company get recommended?
You have to optimize for what these large language models, the LLMs, actually value. And it turns out LLMs are surprisingly pedantic.
Pedantic. In what way?
They crave consistency and semantic authority. The AI is constantly scanning the web to build a confidence score about your entity.
A confidence score?
Yeah, so if your website says you are open 24 hours, but your Yelp profile says you close at 5 p.m., and your LinkedIn says appointment only, the AI detects a conflict.
And when it detects that conflict, it lowers the score.
Exactly. It thinks, I can't recommend this business as a sure thing because the data is messy. So step one of optimization isn't some high-tech AI trick. It's radical consistency.
It's just digital housekeeping.
It is. But then there's step two, which is review sentiment analysis. The AI doesn't just count your stars. It reads the text of the reviews to understand the context.
So if I have 5 stars, but all the reviews say, great guy, but hard to get a hold of, and the user asks the AI for a responsive plumber.
You won't appear, even with 5 stars. Because the AI understands the semantic concept of responsive, and your reviews explicitly contradict that.
That is fascinating. It's moving from keyword matching to concept matching. You can't just stuff the word responsive on your landing page if the social proof doesn't back it up.
Correct. You're not optimizing for clicks anymore. You're optimizing for the AI's trust in your capability.
Now, speaking of optimizing, we can't ignore the giant that is still dominating the room. Google. They're just rolling over. Search Engine Land has a report on what Google is calling an expansionary moment. What does that even mean?
It's their countermove. Google has noticed that while search volume is stable, the nature of the searches is changing. They are becoming longer, more conversational, and more layered.
I've noticed I do this. I don't search running shoes anymore. I search best running shoes for flat feet under 150 that are good for marathons.
And that specific query is a nightmare for old-school keyword marketing, but it's a goldmine for intent.
Let's define that for the listener. When we say intent, how is that different from just searching?
Well, search is the action. Intent is the goal behind the action. If you search running shoes, your intent is low. You might be looking for pictures or history or prices. It's vague.
Right.
But the query you just described, the
Yeah.
intent there is transactional. You are ready to buy, provided your specific criteria are met.
So the expansionary moment refers to the expansion of these high-intent, long-tail queries.
Yes. And here is where businesses are failing, according to the analysis. They are still buying the short keywords because they have high volume. Everyone wants to rank for shoes. But they're ignoring the long queries because the volume is lower.
But the conversion rate on the long query must be astronomically higher.
It is. But you have to land them on the right page. This brings us to the concept of intent matching. If you search for that specific marathon shoe for flat feet, and I pay for an ad that drops you onto a generic men's footwear category page, what do?
I bounce immediately. I'm not going to scroll through 500 shoes to find the one I asked for.
Exactly. You asked a specific question, and the brand gave you a generic answer. The trust is broken. In this new environment, your site structure needs to answer these specific questions. You literally need a landing page that says, here are our top picks for flat-footed marathon runners.
So the strategy is, don't fear the low volume of long questions.
Yeah.
Embrace them, because the people asking them are the ones actually opening their wallets.
100%. It's better to have 100 visitors with 100% intent than 10,000 visitors with 1% intent.
I want to pivot here. We've been talking about very targeted, almost sniper-like marketing with AI and search. But sometimes you just want the bazooka. You want the big stage.
Yeah.
And usually that means TV, specifically something massive like the Winter Olympics.
Historically, yes. If you wanted a spot during the Olympics, you were negotiating with network executives over 3 martini lunches and writing checks with 6 or 7 zeros.
You were competing with Visa, Coca-Cola.
All of them.
But Digiday is reporting that the wall has basically crumbled. They say Winter Olympics inventory is now accessible programmatically. Now, we hear programmatic a lot. Can we get a clean, I'm 5 definition of what that actually means in this context?
Sure, think of it like the stock market. In the old days, you had to call a broker to buy a stock. That's traditional ad buying. Programmatic is like using an app on your phone to buy the stock instantly via an automated algorithm.
Huh?
You use software called a DSP or demand-side platform to bid on ad spots in real time.
So I can log into a dashboard and bid on a commercial slot during the Olympics, just like I bid on a Facebook ad.
Effectively, yes. And because it's automated and auction-based, the barrier to entry has collapsed. You don't need to buy the whole tournament. You can buy specific slices.
And the prices Digiday listed were genuinely surprising to me. They listed the CPM, the cost per mil, or cost per 1,000 viewers, for Peacock, the streaming service.
Right. For non-live content, so replays, highlights, documentaries, it's around $40 CPM.
Mhm.
For live content with targeting, it's around $75 CPM.
Let's put that in context. Is $40 high?
It's premium, but it's not out of reach. A highly targeted LinkedIn campaign can easily cost you $40 or $50 CPM.
Yeah.
High-intent YouTube keywords can get up there too.
So we are talking about price parity between clicking around on LinkedIn and appearing on TV during the Olympics.
Exactly.
That totally changes the calculus for a mid-sized brand. If you're a regional insurance company or a direct-to-consumer startup, you can actually afford to test this.
That's the keyword, test. You can say, I only want to target viewers in the Pacific Northwest who are watching curling replays. The tech allows you to be that granular.
Right.
You aren't just spraying money into the void. You're using the same tactical precision you use on social media, but on the biggest screen in the house.
It's the answer economy, again, in a way. The advertiser is asking specifically for men aged 25-40 in Seattle, and the programmatic engine answers by inserting the ad only for them.
It is. It's the end of broadcasting and the beginning of narrowcasting, but on a massive scale.
Speaking of new screens and new formats, let's talk about Meta. TechCrunch has a scoop that Metaso, Facebook, and Instagram is testing a standalone app called Vibes.
Vibes. It sounds like something a focus group of 40-year-olds came up with to sound young.
It really does. How do you do, fellow kids? But the app itself is interesting. It's a dedicated feed entirely for short AI-generated videos.
This is a significant strategic shift. Until now, AI video, the stuff made by Sora or Runway or Meta's own tools, has been a feature inside other apps. You use it to make a background or a clip.
Right.
Meta's trying to make AI video a destination.
Why separate it? Why not just shove it into the Instagram Reels feed?
That's the trust issue again. If you flood Instagram with weird, glitchy, AI-generated cartoons, you degrade the user experience of seeing your friends or real creators. By building a separate sandbox Vibes, they can train their algorithms and let creators go wild without polluting the main product.
Okay, but for a business listening to this, do they really need to care about an experimental app called Vibes?
They need to care about the speed. If this app takes off, or even if the tech just gets integrated back into Instagram later, it changes the content economics.
How so?
Right now, making video is expensive and slow. AI video is cheap and instant. TechCrunch argues that this creates an opportunity to test fast. You can generate 10 different variations of a video hook using AI, see which one gets traction, and then spend the money to shoot a real version of the winner.
That's smart. It's using AI as a storyboard tester.
Exactly. Don't bet the farm on AI video being your final product yet. It's still a bit uncanny valley, but use it to test your ideas at the speed of thought.
So we've got AI chatbots judging our business consistency, Google demanding deep intent matching, programmatic ads on the Olympics, and now AI video apps. It feels like a lot.
It is a lot.
And usually when it's a lot, marketing teams can get paralyzed. They launch a campaign, it doesn't result in immediate sales, and they just say, well, Google doesn't work, or the Olympics were a waste of money.
That is the perennial problem. We look at the binary result, sale or no sale. But that's like trying to fix a car by just turning the key and saying it didn't start. You need to open the hood.
Which brings us to our final source from Search Engine Journal. They propose a diagnostic tool called the micro-conversion ladder. I love frameworks like this. Walk us through it.
It's a way to break down the user journey into checkable steps. So step 1 is your macro conversions. This is the big goal, the sale, the booked meeting.
The thing that pays the bills.
Right, but you can't really optimize for that yet because you don't have enough data. So you add rungs to the ladder. Step 2 is a high-interest micro conversion. This might be viewing the pricing page or adding an item to the cart.
Okay, so they didn't buy, but they checked the price tag. That's a signal.
Step 3 is a low-interest micro conversion. Downloading a free guide, watching 50% of a video, or just scrolling to the bottom of the page.
So how do I use this to fix a broken campaign?
You track these metrics specifically by landing page. Let's say you bought that Olympics ad, you got 1,000 clicks to your site. That sounds great. But 0 sales.
Disaster.
If you only look at sales, yes. But look at the ladder. Did those 1,000 people look at the pricing page? If 500 of them looked at the price, but nobody bought, well, your ad worked perfectly. Your landing page worked perfectly. Your pricing is the problem.
Right. You diagnose the specific leak in the pipe.
But if you got 1,000 clicks and nobody downloaded the brochure or looked at the price, they just left immediately, then your ad was the problem. You promised something the page didn't deliver, the expectation match was off.
This turns marketing from a guessing game into more of an engineering problem. You aren't wondering if it works, you're isolating where it breaks.
And that is the only way to survive in 2026. The platforms, Google, Meta, Anthropic, are just too complex to guess. You have to verify each step of the ladder.
So bringing this all together, there's a clear theme emerging today. Whether you are dealing with a chatbot, a search bar, or a streaming TV ad, the era of tricking the system is dead.
It really is.
Yeah.
You can't trick the AI into trusting you if your data is messy. You can't trick a user into buying if your landing page doesn't match their specific intent.
It seems like the winner in this answer economy is just the business that packages trust the most effectively.
I'd agree with that. It's answers over links, it's intent over keywords, and it's testing over guessing.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave the listener with a provocative thought. We touched on this with Anthropic, but I want to push it further. We are moving to a world where we outsource our choices to AI. Claude, find me the best toaster. Google, find me the best lawyer.
We are trusting the machine to be our vetting agent.
So here is the question. If the future of advertising is appearing inside that trusted answer, what happens when an AI recommends a product that sucks?
That is the nightmare scenario for the AI companies.
If a search engine gives me a bad link, I blame the website. But if an AI tells me this is the best camera and I buy it and it breaks in a week, do I blame the camera company? Or do I stop trusting the AI?
I think you blame the AI. It's like a friend giving you a bad recommendation. You might forgive the restaurant for a bad meal, but you stop asking that friend for food advice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if trust is the currency of that subscription model, then AI companies might become even stricter gatekeepers than Google ever was. They can't afford to recommend a lemon.
Which means the bar for businesses to even get a mention is going to keep rising. Mediocrity won't just be ignored, it will be filtered out entirely to protect the AI's reputation.
A scary but clarifying thought. The best SEO strategy might just be, well, having a really good product and excellent service.
Radical, I know.
We encourage you to check your own expectation matches this week. Look at your ads, look at your landing pages, and ask, am I keeping the promise I made in the headline?
It's the best place to start.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.